Hello and welcome to Granada Reports Live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, here are just some of the stories we have for you on the programme this evening.
Beating the beater, the Manchester study that's testing COVID booster jabs to protect against new variants for years to come.
It's a little bit like being in your own edition of Wacky Races, only without the fun.
They're famously controversial, but are e-scooters making our city centres no-go areas for blind and partially sighted people?
Prescribing nature, how the great outdoors could help people overcome loneliness and depression.
You snooze, you lose. The campers up early to get the best spot as full capacity racing returns to Alton Park.
Chorley is well and truly in bloom this weekend for the flower show. Join us later on in the programme for some Friday floral fun.
Wow.
And some of your northwest gardens still managed to look pretty in between this morning's rain, cloudy skies and the afternoon showers. What about the weekend? Full forecast a little later on.
First tonight to the vaccine test taking place in Manchester, designed to help protect people worldwide from COVID variants for years to come.
Trials of a new booster vaccine against the beta variant are now underway, with thousands of volunteers coming forward across Manchester and East Cheshire.
It's the variant currently spreading across Europe, with many concerned it can evade current vaccines.
And it's hoped the new jab from Oxford AstraZeneca will also boost the immune systems of those eligible to have it. Tim Scott has tonight's top story.
Hi Nick, good morning. My name is Christiana, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
How are you?
A research programme to keep COVID at bay and keep us safe from the virus. Nick Hookey, a chaplain at Manchester Royal Infirmary, has volunteered to take part in a booster vaccine trial at the hospital. He was given the jab 4 weeks ago and today has come for a checkup.
We need to understand how long the vaccinations last, not just in this country, but for all the countries around the world as well, that where people perhaps have got less access to vaccines. So it's important for them to understand how often they might need to be vaccinated too.
The booster trial with Nick here in Manchester is specifically targeting the COVID beta variant. Other trials targeting other variants are taking place all around the world. If the trials are a success and deemed to be safe, well, it's hoped that we'll all be offered our own booster jab later this year. The beta variant first appeared in South Africa and is more infectious and vaccine resistant. Its mutation involves the virus's spike protein, the part that helps the virus get into human cells. It's also the part that the vaccines are designed around, which is why experts are concerned about the mutations. Hence the need for booster research at centres like the MRI.
The boosters really are for two main reasons. They're to make the immune response last for longer, so hopefully people are immune for longer, but they're actually also to make the immune response stronger, and that may overcome some of these variants and mean the vaccine works really well. I think this research is going to help everybody. We really need to know the best strategy for vaccinating our population so that we can keep our relatives and ourselves and our communities safe as we go forwards. Boosters, I think, are going to be needed. We want to make sure we do it exactly the best way.
The COVID vaccination programme has been a huge success. It's estimated around 60,000 deaths have been prevented in the UK alone. It's hoped the booster research programme will help deliver an effective barrier against new COVID variants and keep us all safe in the future. Tim Scott, ITV News, Manchester.
From the vaccines to come to the vaccines we already have, and pregnant women in the northwest are being urged to get their jabs.
It comes as worrying new figures show more than 98% of pregnant women admitted to hospital with COVID haven't been jabbed. Earlier, I spoke to Angela Kerrigan, a consultant midwife at Wirral University Teaching Hospitals. She told me why vaccinations are so important for those expecting.
We are seeing increasing numbers of pregnant women who are testing positive for COVID-19 at the moment, and they're requiring admission to hospital for treatment. And we know that when women are pregnant, COVID-19 can cause complications. It can be a more serious condition, particularly in the final trimester, so in the last 12 weeks of pregnancy. It can present more problems for women that require additional care, sometimes admission to intensive care units, and ultimately the early birth of their baby to maintain the safety of the mother. So it's important that women consider the COVID-19 vaccination in order to protect themselves and their babies from the risks that COVID-19 presents.
We all know, though, don't we, that it's a time of heightened anxiety, pregnancy, isn't it? You really do want to do the best for you and your child. There's a lot of worries surrounding it. What would you say to women who are thinking twice about it?
So the vaccine has been administered to thousands of women in the UK and worldwide, particularly in the United States of America, and we have no evidence to suggest that there are any safety concerns for its use in pregnancy. We know that it is an effective way of protecting against COVID-19, and there are no concerns regarding the safety of it with breastfeeding mums either.
What's been your experience and your colleagues' experience of the women that you're working with?
I'd say it's definitely a mixed bag. Some women are very keen to get the information about the vaccine and want to protect themselves and their babies, and other women are understandably more hesitant. But this really is to reassure women that the evidence that we have, there are no suggestions that there are any safety concerns. And there are growing numbers of women accepting the vaccination that we are able to, gather the evidence from.
Angela, lots of pregnant women who are reluctant to get the vaccine have said that there's been a lot of mixed messaging around the dangers of the vaccine. What would you say to that?
It's really to say that the evidence that we have suggests that there are no safety concerns around the vaccine, and if anybody likes further information or advice about it, they can speak to their midwife, their GP, or their obstetrician at the local maternity unit. We know that there are some minimal side effects to the vaccine, which are, to be expected, but the benefits of the vaccine far outweigh the risks of COVID-19 infection during pregnancy.
Angela Kerrigan, thanks so much for joining us this evening.
Two other stories making the headlines tonight, and a man from Rochdale who killed his 2-week-old baby in 1976 has been jailed for 9 years. Terence MacArthur admitted his daughter Tracy's manslaughter at their then home in Plymouth. At the time, her death wasn't treated as a criminal matter, but police reopened the case in 2017 after MacArthur confessed to medical professionals.
He told a nurse he had shaken and killed 14-day-old baby Tracy when she would not stop screaming, and at the time it had been deemed a cot death. Following the referral from Greater Manchester, we launched a protracted and complex investigation which has been undertaken over the past 4 years.
Detectives searching for the family of a baby boy whose body was found on a golf course 6 months ago are using DNA databases to help trace them. The baby was found in a wooded area of Brackenwood Golf Course in Wirral in January. A post-mortem examination to establish his cause of death proved inconclusive. Since the discovery, police have tried a number of lines of inquiry, but all have been ruled out.
Tickets to Peter Kay's highly anticipated return to the stage have sold out in less than 30 minutes. The comedian from Bolton's performing 2 shows at the Apollo in Manchester next month. They're to raise cash for Laura Nuttall from Lancashire. She has a type of brain cancer for which treatment isn't available on the NHS.
What is billed as a revolutionary new type of transport is being described as wacky races without the fun by a campaigner from Liverpool.
E-scooters are appearing all over the northwest, but they aren't going down well with everyone. There's even a petition to Downing Street calling for them to be banned.
Supporters say they allow people to travel in a safe, sustainable way. Victoria Grimes reports.
They're designed to be an environmentally friendly way of getting around the city. And if it gets you out of the rain a bit quicker, well, that can only be a positive. But they're not good news for everyone.
It's a little bit like being in your own edition of Wacky Races, only without the fun.
Naomi and Tom are both visually impaired. Making their way around town is hard enough, but add e-scooters into the mix and things can become even more difficult and potentially dangerous.
This should be properly tucked away so that it's out of the way. But again, you could imagine a visually impaired person getting a bit confused, trying to get out the road of the pedestrians and then bumping into this thing. Scooters have basically turned Liverpool and other cities into a no-go area for blind and partially sighted people.
Sometimes these e-scooters will come up to you that quick that either side, it will make her jump, which will obviously frighten me. I found them actually parked on tactile pavements, which is where a guide dog, or if you're a cane user, is where you're supposed to cross safely. It's very unnerving and, you know, you get really anxious about it.
The e-scooters are part of a pilot project in Liverpool, but there have been concerns around safety, especially how they're being ridden.
9 people have been hospitalised, even if only briefly, because of these bikes. And that doesn't include one of my constituents who was off work for a week because he just fell over one in the dark. It's not that the council aren't doing the right things or considering the right things. They need to inject a note of urgency into this, particularly during the school holidays, where, as I predicted, more and more underage people are using these scooters.
Operator Voy told us that the e-scooters are part of a green transport revolution, allowing people to travel in a safe, sustainable way whilst reducing air pollution. Almost all of our users are responsible riders, they said, and the majority of journeys end without incident. They say they'll continue to work closely with disability organisations to understand the needs of vulnerable people, particularly those with mobility or visual impairments. But for Tom, that doesn't go far enough.
I think the only option now is to ban e-scooters, at least until an independent review of safety has been carried out. If we told any other group in society that you cannot go in the city centre, there would be an absolute outcry. But we seem to be saying that it's perfectly acceptable for visually impaired people to be intimidated out of a large part of Liverpool and other towns and cities.
Victoria Grimes, ITV News, Liverpool.
In response to the issues raised in that report, Liverpool's council and its combined authority have sent us a statement. They say safety is of vital importance in this trial, and we're working closely with the vehicle operators Voy, partners at Merseyside Police and other stakeholders to ensure the e-scooters are being used safely and properly. This is a pilot scheme which we continually and closely monitor. We would, of course, not hesitate to take further action should this be needed.
There's lots more to come on the programme tonight, including
all the latest from Tokyo as our Northwest Olympians paint the town bronze.
And this little baby sparrow managed its breakfast time in between this morning's rain and the afternoon showers. I'll have your full forecast for the weekend ahead a little later on.
How does walking through a forest make you feel? Peaceful? Reflective, maybe?
Sadly, at the moment, a bit wet.
Yeah, that's true.
And then a bit dry and then a bit wet again.
Yeah.
For many people, lockdown brought a new appreciation of nature and what it means for our well-being.
Didn't it just? Now an ecotherapy project in Lancashire is using the healing power of nature to help people struggling with poor mental health.
Anna Youssef went to find out more.
The great outdoors. During the long months of the pandemic, nature has been a source of solace for many. Research has shown spending time reconnecting with the natural world can help with depression and anxiety. So with lockdown leading to a huge demand on mental health services, can nature on prescription help?
Hey, that's a good idea, that. Get your stress out of your system.
Many of those taking part in the My Place ecotherapy project at Brockholes Nature Reserve have been referred by their GP. People like Mary, who struggled with depression after her husband died.
Well, you feel isolated because at the beginning you don't want to go out, if you understand what I mean. All you're doing is like being upset all the time. And because you get upset all the time, you don't want to go out because you don't want anybody seeing you. You don't want to go out along the road and then start crying. Anybody's thinking, well, what's to do with her? Like.
Mary's made friends here and enjoys the conservation work.
So meeting together, we've all been in the same situation. So what we tend to do, we tend to try and help each other. You learn things all the time. You can chill out, it's tranquil. Everybody mixes in, it's just so lovely. It's like now. Out here, it's beautiful.
Ecotherapy, or green therapy, is a therapeutic treatment that involves doing outdoor activities in nature. It's led by trained professionals. The aim is to help improve mental and physical well-being.
Jake's 24 and recovering from stress-induced psychosis.
You can start hearing voices, you can start hallucinating, seeing things that aren't there. You just kind of lose touch with reality. Day-to-day life was a struggle to start with. It was just, I was constantly either sleeping or I wasn't sleeping at all. I wasn't really eating.
What have you gained from getting involved in these sort of sessions?
I've gained friends, I've gained a place I can go and just be myself. You just kind of concentrate on the moment, and it takes you out from kind of your demons and what you're thinking about back at home, because you're there just being told like, oh, today we're going to do some planting, and then you just think, right, well, I'm going to be doing some planting. So you're just there concentrating on the activity at hand.
Sheila's depression can get so bad that she finds it difficult to leave her house.
Coming here helps. It's better than medication. It relaxes you. I like the sound of the river and the birds and seeing the deers and the wildlife and everything.
She enjoys the gardening activities and seeing her hard work pay off.
Like, you put some work into it, and like, it's a small part of you in it as well.
That's a lovely way of putting it, a small part of you.
The project's delivered by the Wildlife Trust in partnership with the NHS.
The idea is that when you're outside doing an activity with other people who are feeling the same as you, you stop thinking about the bad stuff and you concentrate on the good stuff. And you have a couple of hours where you're not having to worry about life and about its problems, and you're just enjoying being together, being outside, doing something good for nature, giving something back to each other and to the world. It just kind of works, really.
1 in 5 people are actually going to the GPs, and it's not medically related. It's loneliness and isolation. So like nature and prescribing nature can be used as one of those tools, like exercise can be, like different activities can be. So that's where you get the term social prescribing, actually getting people out and preventing loneliness and isolation, which can obviously make mental health issues even worse.
For those here today, it's been a positive experience, a chance to connect with nature and each other. Anna Joseph, ITV News.
Yeah, brilliant example of just what the doctor ordered. Now, it's been yet another good day at the Olympic Games for Team GB. Bryony Page from Crewe won a trampolining medal for a second Games in a row, following up silver in Rio with bronze in Tokyo. And she was delighted after overcoming a series of injuries since the last Games.
I would like to do the same and congratulate China on getting a 1-2 on the podium. Absolutely amazing. And for all the other competitors bringing their game and making the competition enjoyable. So I'm really happy to have made podium for my second time, and it feels really, really special. So, and just want to thank everyone who's helped me to get here.
There was also a bronze for 2 Northwest rowers. Stockport's Josh Bujatsky and Tom Ford from Holmeschapel both picked up the medal in the men's 8. But it's the first time Team GB had failed to win an Olympic gold in rowing since, get this, 1980.
And next tonight, 30,000 motor racing fans will be heading to Alton Park this weekend for the British Touring Car Championships. It's the first time such a large crowd will be at the circuit since the pandemic started 18 months ago.
Ahead of the races on Sunday, hundreds of people have been arriving today to make sure they get the perfect spot to see the action. Our sports correspondent David Chisnell went along to see them.
When the British Touring Car Championships come to Alton Park, it's one of the biggest race days of the year. Thousands flock to the Cheshire circuit, and after having to stay away last year because of COVID, being back this year is special.
I've always brought Caden to Alton Park all the way through as best as I can, and this is first time back, so it's quite emotional.
And you just got to meet one of the drivers as well. What was that like?
I got to do a high five.
How much have you missed it?
Very, very much.
Yeah, we just like coming to motorsport. We love motorsport. Been coming years, you see.
How much do you like your racing?
A lot.
What's so good about it?
Just like watching the cars.
Local driver Tom Oliphant grew up just a 3-minute drive away from the track, and having home support back means a lot.
I'm really, really proud to be at Alton Park at my home race with all the fans back. I just think it'll be an amazing atmosphere. You know, you can hear them, calling out your name. It's just It's an incredible experience and we've really missed it.
Well, up to 30,000 fans are expected over the weekend. And with the circuit fully reopened, it's good news for those who like to pitch their tent or caravan because the campsite is once again open. Yay! How much did you miss it not being able to come last year?
Well, yeah, that much so that we were having touring car parties at home, watching it on telly.
How many of you were coming down? It's quite a few of you.
Yeah, I think it's about 15 to 20 of us, probably something like that in total.
But you're the ones getting everything ready, you're doing the hard work.
They're further away from the food and the bar.
We always love it here. It's a nice friendly atmosphere and family orientated as well.
Having disabilities, I can't just go anywhere on my own, so now I can come out again. It feels like freedom.
To be back on a racing track watching is, yeah, it's a different world.
Give us a cheer if you're excited.
Yay! Yay!
Among those living the high life at the campsite are Heather and her partner John.
So I've got the bedding, we've got a nice extractor fan in, there's solar panels on the roof that give me electric into the batteries under the seat. We can use a coffee machine when we're camping.
And being back here as well, special.
I'm on the verge of tears. It's that good being here.
While many are happy to return, with COVID rates still high, there are those who will stay away. But organisers say they're doing everything they can to keep people safe.
Even though that's a lot of people around this circuit, it's really not. So they're all spread out. Everyone will be able to maintain their distance from everyone else and still enjoy, the best motorsport in the country.
Well, after 18 months away, the wait is finally over for these fans who have the perfect pitch to see all of the track action. David Chisnell, ITV News, Alton Park.
And here's what's still to come on the ITV News at 6:30 with Charlie.
Why pregnant women are being urged to get the COVID jab. Hundreds of thousands haven't had it yet, and the number of mums to be in hospital with the virus is rising. The cat killer jailed for a spate of attacks. And BMX brilliance, Team GB's historic Olympic gold and silver in Tokyo. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Now, you've heard of Tatton and Chelsea, but what about Chorley Flower Show? Some of the country's top gardeners are in the northwest this weekend to exhibit their talents at Astley Park.
Like so many public events, it had to be online last year, but this time real-life displays are back for the three-day event. Our correspondent Caroline Whitmore's been to see what the green-fingered among us can expect.
I'm finally here at Chorley Flower Show. Of course, it was cancelled last year, but now it is back bigger and better than ever. It's now a three-day event. I'm joined by Peter Wilson. You're the Deputy Leader of Chorley Council. How relieved are you that this event can now go ahead?
Oh, look, it's a massive relief, isn't it? We've had 15 months of lockdown, restrictions, back open again and then back into it. So we looked at the dates and we thought the Flower Show is going to be the first key event in the whole of Lancashire following the lifting of all restrictions. And here we are. Isn't it absolutely fantastic?
Do you know, and it's such a party atmosphere as well, isn't there? There was a band playing before, there's lots of colour everywhere. This is just what we need, isn't it?
Oh, this is ideal. I mean, this is exactly what people have been looking for, and the timing couldn't be better, could it? Just as I say, within a month of lifting restrictions, here we are at Chorley Flower Show. It's bigger and better than it's been before, and I'm confident over the weekend we'll see more and more people come and enjoy the wonderful displays that are on offer.
And you've got a stunning backdrop behind you there, the lovely Astley Hall, which has had a bit of a makeover, really, hasn't it?
It has indeed. It's had a major improvement. So we've taken off the old render and gone back to the original 17th century stonework that we can see there. And it looks absolutely awesome. I mean, it is a beautiful building.
And an event like this, you're expecting about 16,000 people across the whole weekend. How great is that for Chorley?
Oh, look, it's massive. It's a huge event for Chorley. It puts us well and truly on the map. And as I say, I think with people perhaps not being able to attend events of this sort for many months, I think even more people might come if we get some favourable weather.
Exactly. Well, let's chat to some of those people who attended earlier today.
We love the flower show, we love coming every year. We really missed it last year, so we're really glad to be back and looking at all the fabulous gardens.
The flowers, the atmosphere, the people, it's just so friendly.
It's somewhere for my wife to bring, or me to bring my wife so she can spend my money.
And I have to say, you've spent it on a lovely salvia there.
Yeah, that's right. And you've even remembered the name of it now, haven't you? Haven't you done well?
I really like seeing the creativity everyone's put into the designs and how imaginative they all are.
Well, I'm now in the Grand Floral Marquee with Vicky and Stan, who are keen cacti growers for the last 50 years. Look at your outfits, that looks amazing. Even on the wellies, Vicky. Even on the wellies, look at that. Now, how long have you been exhibiting here at Chorley Flower Show?
Since it started in 2014. We've been every year, obviously not last year because of the pandemic, but it's nice to be back.
You've got such an array, such a fabulous array, haven't you? Which is your favourite, Vicky?
This one, Popsy the cactus. She's quite famous. She's got her own Twitter page.
Enjoy the event. It's on for 3 days, isn't it? So if you want to head to Chorley Flower Show, it's on until Sunday. Back to you.
I've been known to kill cacti in my time.
You didn't have them on your wellies, that's why. We've had the heat wave, then the thunderstorms. What joy does the weather hold this weekend? Here's Kerry.
Now that is brew weather.
And only boiling what she needs.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Big up you, sis.
Hello, very good evening to you. Disappointingly cloudy across the region today after the rain we had this morning and the lively weather conditions we've had over the last few days. Hopefully a little bit more in the way of sunshine in between our showers as we head into tomorrow. The weekend overall will feel fresher, brighter at times rather than sunny, always a shower risk, and some cooler nights. And in rural shelters, certainly by Sunday night, we could be looking at lows of around 5 or 6 Celsius, something to be aware of course, if you're out camping this weekend. Storm Avert tracked down the southern half of the UK during the course of this morning, giving us on the northern edge some rain first thing and showers this afternoon and this evening. And now as it's pushed away, we've got that northerly flow into the weekend. Nothing too strong wind-wise, but certainly feeling fresher with that showery mix, and still a risk of some showers potentially heavy over the next few hours or so, but they will tend to ease off as the night progresses, and we'll see a little bit more in the way of clear skies in between those showery outbreaks as we head towards dawn. Overnight lows, generally speaking, pretty mild, but a little bit of a breeze, so in rural shelter a fresher feel. There is sometimes for tomorrow, 5:23 and 9:11. I think any low cloud probably over the Pennines first thing, still the risk of a few showers, then some sunshine, and then as the day progresses there's the higher risk of a few showers down in the far south, down towards parts of Cheshire perhaps and over the Pennines, but many of us will have a drier day, a brighter day, temperatures around the average 20 or 21, but we've got those winds from the north-northwest. It will peg back the feel of things, especially out of the sunshine. As we head into Sunday, a little bit more cloud around, slightly higher risk of a shower, that cool northerly and a chilly night to follow, and then fewer showers on Monday, maybe a tiny bit warmer by Tuesday.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
2 sugars, please.
Oh, lovely.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Well, I can't believe it's almost the end of July, but that is good news for hay fever sufferers because that pretty much says goodbye to the peak of the pollen season. Coupled with showers, it's low as we head into the weekend. Have a good one.
Bye-bye pollen, pleased to hear that. Thank you, Kerry. That's Granada Reports this Friday evening.
I'll be back with the late news after news at 10 tonight.
And for now, from all the team here, have a great evening and enjoy your weekend.
Night-night.